Hi, I'm Levita Ewing with the Association of African American Cultural Gardens, and I have the honor of introducing our Sankofa Web Series to you, our audience. Our goal is to educate regarding the African American experience. Through this series, we will be interviewing some of the most interesting, engaging leaders and entrepreneurs in this great city. These change agents will tell us about themselves, what they do, why African American history is important, and what does the African American Cultural Garden mean to them. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page, the Association of African American Cultural Garden, and go to our website, aAACG.org, for the most updated information regarding events and our Sankofa Education Series. We will be breaking ground for Phase 2 of building the African American Garden early 2022, and it will be a sight to behold. But in the meantime, please enjoy this informative series brought to you by the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Association of the African American Cultural Gardens Sankofa Education Series. I am your host, Cierra Nelson, and I hope you're excited to watch the series because we will explore the amazing journey of African Americans right here in the greater Cleveland area. This includes religious, political, educators, and civic leaders right here in Cleveland. And today I'm honored to have on Waverly Willis. Now, Waverly has a very inspirational story. Waverly was homeless once, and now is a very successful leader and entrepreneur right here in Cleveland. I love stories where people have overcome obstacles. Tell us your backstory, how you came from that to here.
Well, first let me say I appreciate you guys having me on. I am absolutely honored to be a part of this project.
Thank you.
My journey is a very rocky journey, and I used to be scared or ashamed to share it, but once I started sharing it, I noticed that it helped a lot of people out, and a lot of people was going through the same thing that I was going through, directly or indirectly. So yeah, like we spoke a moment ago, I am in recovery. I was severely homeless, meaning not just couch surfing on friends and families. Couches. I slept on 18th and Superior with the cardboard and the steam coming up. I spent a lot of time at 2100 Lakeside.
Okay.
And the good Lord rescued me from all of that. I actually went through barber college. Half of it was homeless. Barber school takes about 1 year. It took me about 2.5 years to graduate from barber school because half of it I was homeless, and the other half I lived in a homeless shelter. Okay. So it was a rough climb coming up, but I'm very fortunate to be in the place that I am, and I know that the past is what fuels everything that I do now.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you for being so transparent and sharing that. I want to talk about you being a successful entrepreneur here, right here in Cleveland. You own a barbershop, so you did complete that. You own a successful barbershop, and you even cut our new mayor's hair, Justin Bibb's hair. So you have a relationship there. Talk about your barbershop and your relationship there.
My barbershop is Urban Kutz Barber Shop, which is one shop, 3 locations. Shameless plug there. On the west side of Cleveland, and I opened up my first location in May of 2008, my second location in August of 2013, and I just signed the lease for my third. And
Congrats.
it's been a wonderful journey. When I was suffering through my addictions, as we know, addiction can take everything away, and I literally sold everything except my clippers. I was probably the most well-groomed crack addict that you ever want to see, and people don't notice, but some bus stops had outlets years ago, and when people would compliment me on my beard or my haircut when I had hair, I would just solicit them to let me trim them up while we was at the bus stop, while we were at the RTA station, Greyhound, and I would just cut their hair or give them a quick trim up for a few bucks, and if I make $5 or $10, I would go get me a piece of crack and a shorty of Wild Irish Rose, and that's how I spend my days. So from that to where I'm at now, cutting hair, I used to be ashamed to share my story, but now people starting to know about it, and they do inquire, and they might be inquired maybe for themselves or maybe for a friend or a family member, and I know that being behind my barber chair is kind of like it's like my pulpit. That's my ministry, and it's something that I take pride in. I don't want to just give people haircuts. I want them to walk away from my chair having something to think about or some type of information that will help them or a friend or a family member.
Awesome. Because you went through a journey to get to where you are. When did it click to you, or when was that change made when you decided, I have to change, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to strive, I'm not going to stop? And how did you transition there?
I knew I just needed a shot, and I ran into a friend while I was homeless in my addiction, and he didn't cut hair, and I hadn't seen him in years, and he popped up and he had a barber license, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? And he told me about some program that he went to. They paid for his barber college, and I went to it. I think it was called GFS or something like that.
Okay.
But I went to the program, and I didn't have any work history, so they made me go to some factory and wear an orange vest and just clean the toilets out. They made me do that for 3 months, which was really hard for me. I had to be on time every day. And after I came back, completed that, they said I had to do 3 more months because they didn't want to spend that money on me, you know. Okay. And so I'm sorry. Every time I talk about it, I get choked up, because I'm just so grateful that God saved me from that, and I can actually share this story with people, you know.
No, I appreciate your transparency, and trust me, somebody out there is watching, because we all inspire somebody in some way. So thank you for sharing that. So tell me about your barbershops and how you, because someone on the outside looking in saying, wow, this gentleman went from being homeless to now a successful leader in the community and barbershops. So how did you get to that? I mean, you're on your 3rd location.
Right. After finally coming out of barber school, when I was in drug and alcohol treatment, that's when the light bulb finally came on that I got that one shot. And so
that was that moment.
That was my moment that you asked me about a moment ago. And I knew that this was my last shot. So a lot of guys was in treatment for a rest stop before they go back to the streets. And I was gonna die or be in prison, and I knew that. So I was concentrating on getting through school and concentrating on myself getting through recovery. And I knew that I was just writing every night in my journal. And I knew that I wanted to give a person more of an experience. So while I was in the homeless shelter, I actually formed my nonprofit, which is the Urban Barber Association.
Awesome.
And through my barbershops, I made partnerships with Cleveland Clinic, the American Heart Association, and Cleveland State University NeoMed program.
Okay.
And I'm noticing a commonality between myself and men. A lot of my clients were suffering from hypertension, diabetes, you know, unfortunately typical things that African American men go through. So I formed a blood pressure program, and this was pre-COVID, where a healthcare professional or student would come in, take blood pressures. We have a program called the I Read, I Lead program, which is a partnership with Literacy in the Hood. I'm sure you guys probably know Cassandra Matthews.
Yes.
And she comes in and put a small library, a bookshelf in our barbershops, and it promotes child literacy. A program that we give out information to people that have felony backgrounds. It's like 4 pages, and it's been very instrumental. So again, I wanted people to have more than a haircut. I wanted to walk away feeling good, looking good, with some information that would help them out. And as far as the blood pressure program, it's been on more than one occasion. A person, while he's waiting to get his hair cut, he'll get his blood pressure checked, and their blood pressure has been so high that we had to send them to the emergency room.
Wow, directly, right?
Directly,
from
like,
the barbershop.
Get the haircut, your blood pressure is through the roof, but that's why they call it the silent killer. You know what I mean? So I've had men, wives, girlfriends, daughters, sons come back and thank me for helping save their father's life, possibly. You know, and again, this has happened on more than one occasion. So I call my barbershops a community center where you can just happen to get a haircut.
I love that. So it's almost like there's a hub, because I was listening to you. You actually have the blood pressure machines right there.
Yeah.
They can actually, even if you're not talking about it, they're just there, so they can go up and check their blood pressure. That is amazing. When new people come in, your new clients, how do you approach them, or just bring up the conversation about health and wellness?
I got some flyers, some signage out, and just the fact that that blood pressure machine, it's like fishing, because they're going to say, what's that? And that's a blood pressure machine. While you're sitting there, just check your blood pressure real quick. Now, again, we would have healthcare professionals coming in twice a month, and the purpose of having that professional in, because after the blood pressure, or during the blood pressure, it's going to be some questions asked. And I tell my team, we are not giving out any medical advice. You know what I'm saying? Our goal is to screen and educate people to the best of our ability. But if it's anything past what's a normal blood pressure or basic questions, that's why we had the professionals to come in. And so the fact that that blood pressure machine is sitting there is a conversation starter. And quite honestly, a lot of people come in because they've seen some programming or of that nature, something like this, and they say, I just heard about it and I wanted to support. It's amazing. We get a lot of clientele just from our charitable work.
That's amazing. And speaking of that being a place, we always talk about barbershops, especially in the African American male community. So it's a place where there's health and wellness. You do so much more than that. Also wanted to ask you, because it's so big in the African American male community as well, anything about mental health? Do you talk about mental health to your customers, or is there any support in that area?
We have had a few roundtable discussion about mental health, trying to get men to stop to lose the macho man mantra that we walk around with, and just have some straight man-to-man conversations. And it was a partnership with, again, Cleveland Clinic, and we had some health professionals come in just to listen to what what men had to say, the fact that men were willing to be transparent and open up and to have my space be a trusted environment. I was honored that, you know, we did it probably about 5 or 6 times, and we always had good turnouts. And the same thing, the basis of it was to have the conversation, and if a person felt like they needed to get some more in-depth professional help, we have the professional right there. And my personal clients, if they want to have more conversation with it, we do during the service of a haircut, or sometimes they don't want to talk about it. But the fact is, the ice had been broken on that. So we have had some conversation about it, and I'm very happy that we got some other things that's in the works right now, and it's to be announced.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, can you mention
to
some of
be
those things, or
I
we
don't-
just gotta
I don't
wait?
have anything
Okay.
solid right now,
Okay.
but it's I'm always working on something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you, who is your mentor? Who do you look up to? Who inspires you? Because you're obviously inspiring to so many.
Right.
Who inspires you?
Mentors are people that just on the short list with people you aspire to be like or you admire. So I'm very fortunate to have a few great mentors, and I knew that question was going to come up, and one of the answers is not for the sake of this, but one of my mentors is Louis Burrell. I've known Louis for a number of years. I've seen his ascension and what he does in his craft. He's always been just a good dude.
Amazing producer, amazing
Yeah,
on the cameras, on the
absolutely.
series.
You know, so he's someone that character-wise I would aspire to be like. I've had some very intimate moments with Mayor Jackson.
Oh, yes. I've interviewed him so many times.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about Frank Jackson, the politician. Just a few moments that we've had when the camera wasn't on. He definitely gave me some nuggets and advice to live by. The CEO of Metro Hospital, Dr. Boutros.
Okay, yeah.
He spends time with me periodically.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that. Our mayor now, you know, even though he's younger than me,
Amazing.
I was, I guess you would call me a public figure. I think I was one of the first public figures to publicly endorse him. But people don't know this. I've known, well, I used to know him as Justin, but I've known Mayor Bibb for probably about 8 years now. He used to come to the shop back in the day.
Okay.
And I always, one of my barbers at the time, I used to tell him, watch him and another young man. I used to tell him literally, and I'm not lying about this, watch those two dudes. They go be something fierce in this city. And I called it. So yeah, it's always good when I get a chance to have him in a chair, and smart as a whip, and I'm so excited for the city. You know, if anybody knows me, they know I rode hard trying to get him in office, and I just can't wait for all the great things that he's going to do in the city. But he's definitely one of my mentors, somebody that I look up to. Again, I know he's a younger man, but I've learned quite a bit from this young man.
That is awesome. Wanted to ask you, why do you feel, especially as an African-American man, why do you feel African-American history is so important and also to share with our youth?
It's so important because if you don't know your history, and I know this sounds cliche, you know the rest, you're doomed to repeat it. And I was looking at some footage from Martin Luther King, obviously, because we're coming off of Martin Luther King Day, and some footage from Malcolm X, and the same things that they were saying, you could easily apply it to today's times. Yes. And it's important that we continue to carry that message, because to me it's an insult to know that your ancestors and my ancestors fought and died for the right for us to vote, for the right for us to get a fair living wage, and we still fighting, you know. So all of that blood, sweat, and tears that our ancestors put forth, it would be a slap in their face if we don't continue to soldier on to make it better for the generations to come.
Awesome. So with our Association of the African American Cultural Gardens and being able to have such seeing a beautiful effort finally come into play, how important do you feel that the Cultural Gardens is in our community?
I think it's very important because it's something of, obviously it's a public space that anybody is welcome to, and I encourage anyone outside, even if you're not African American, to come learn and enjoy the space. But it's culturally specific for us. It's something that we have that from its origin all the way to the end part and all the way into its evolution over the years to come is our space, and we should take pride in that. And I think just the same reason that we have to soldier on and teach the youth coming behind us about history, it's a space that would make that process easier. And I think it's going to give us, as well as the people coming behind us, a sense of pride, knowing that this was made for us, by us.
Love it, absolutely. Wanted to, before we wrap up, wanted to ask you anything that you want to say to a young man that may be watching this and that you've inspired him, or someone that is struggling to overcome an obstacle and they look at you and say, wow, he made it, he's inspiring, he's a leader. Anything that you want to say to help them get to where they need to be?
When the first thing I would say, if I can make a success out of myself, you certainly can. My mantra when I was in the street is I'm gonna be high till I die, and my goal was either to die getting high or to be in prison, because that's how much I hated myself. So whatever you do, first of all, you can do whatever you want to do. My team and I, we go down to the juvenile detention center twice a month over on Quincy, and after I leave there, I literally sit in my car every time and cry. Just seeing those little black boys in there, and just trying to speak life into them. A lot of them don't know that they're gonna be going down to Southern Ohio to the men's prison sooner or later. And I've been going there for some years now. I've seen him come in at 12, then he's back at 14, he's back at 16.
It's just a cycle.
It's a cycle.
Never-ending cycle.
So I would encourage everybody, just even if you got kids, grab somebody outside your family and just spend some time with that young person. But whatever you want to do, you can do it, because if I did it, you can definitely do it. And again, not trying to sound cliche, but it's the truth. When I meet a person, I tell them, don't let the bow ties and the smile and all that fool you. Like, I'm very transparent. And upon introduction, I say, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a dope fiend, and that's what I am. And people say, well, you're not anymore, but I have to continue to. I have a disease inside me, and if I don't keep that at bay and know that, and I've seen it happen a million times, I'll go and celebrate with a drink, and after that, it's over. So if I can do it, you can do it. Whatever you want to do, you can. So.
I love that. Well, thank you for being so transparent and telling us your story. You are an inspiration. So just so you know that, because it takes a lot of courage and bravery to open yourself up to the world and the community. Wanted you, because you're such a success story, you made it. I want you to give us where we can connect with you at the barbershops, where your barbershops are, the locations, any websites or information on how someone can connect with you to just get your story, and or if they want to come to the barbershop, or maybe they want to come get their blood pressure checked and they feel more comfortable coming to where you are than a hospital. Okay.
My shops is at 11106 Detroit Avenue, 4491 Pearl Road, and 6014 Lorraine Avenue. All my socials is Urban Kutz Barber Shop. Kutz is spelled K-U-T-Z. And my personal socials is Waverly Willis, and you can find me there. If you hit me up, DM me, whatever, I do respond. And I'm here to motivate and inspire people in any way, shape, form, and fashion.
So Waverly Willis, want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your personal story. Want to make sure that you check out his Instagram, social media, and maybe check out the barbershop. Go get a cut, go get your blood pressure checked, and connect, because you have a lot of events and things coming up pretty soon. So thank you again. And I want to thank you so much for watching the Association of the African American Cultural Gardens Sankofa Education Series. I'm your host, Cierra Nelson. Make sure you check us out weekly. We have a lot of great interviews and information for you, so make sure you tune in.
The Association of African American Cultural Gardens welcomes you to our segment, Do You Know?, where we highlight individuals past and present that have made tremendous accomplishments in our community. Let's see if you do know. He is a Bahamian American actor, filmmaker, and diplomat. In 1964, he was the first African American and first Bahamian to win the Academy Award for Best Actor in 1963. He is rightly celebrated for his pioneering in performances of the detective in The Heat of the Night, the teacher in To Serve with Love, and the doctor in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. His legacy is a giant and a gentleman who helped open the door for Black actors in the film industry. If you guess Sidney Poitier, then you do know.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Kelly Reed, board member for the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. We are excited to have completed phase 1 of our building project, and we will be breaking ground for phase 2 this spring. But we need your help to complete the garden. Please go to aaacg.org to make your tax-deductible gift, or mail your donation to P.O. Box 20237, Cleveland, Ohio 44120. Be part of history and sow a seed and watch us grow to complete the garden.